Hi and welcome to this video on how to use Aperture on location to improve and enhance your images. This is one of my series of learning to see. We'll work through various different basic and advanced techniques. What I'll do today is take a series of images at different apertures using the same lens, same ISO number. The shutter speed will vary based on the triangle because the only constant there will be the ISO. There's a lot of theory about aperture settings, the creation of blur in the background, foreground, and also the point to infinity. This is to learn what it is like on location. I prefer to imagine what my final image will look like. So, without further ado, let me go and scope out a suitable location. I'll be looking for something that has at least 3 layers, a foreground, a midground, and a distance. So this is the location that I've found. What we've got, we have a moss-covered wall in the foreground, which we can see here. We have the ferns in the middle ground, and then we have the trees going off into the distance. So this is the setting that I'm going to be using. Let me get set up and we'll crack on with getting those images. First things first, let's get the tripod set up. We're going to need the tripod pretty high to get over the wall and to be able to capture the top of the wall. So we're going to extend it 3 of the 4 legs on this tripod. So that'll give us quite a bit of reach. I never use the center post. I find those a little bit unstable on pretty much every tripod I've ever had. Let's get some stable ground, line it up, yep, perfect. Now let's get the camera. Got the Canon 90D, and this is currently fitted with the 18-135 lens. So let's put that on there nice. Let's tighten that up. We've got the moss on the wall in the foreground, the fern in the midground, and the layer of trees in the background. So that's what I'm going to be focusing this image on. So let's, at the moment we're at f4, as you can see, shutter speed is 1/8 of a second. I do have a polarizer on, so let's capture this image. We'll adjust our f-stop to 8. You can see that we're now at ½ a second. These are all focused on the rocks in the foreground, you'll notice right now. So we'll show you the difference between what is capturing, what's going to be in focus and what isn't. You can see now that f22 we've got a 3+ second exposure. The issue that gives us is movement in the fern because of the wind. So I'm going to just wait for a little bit of a lull in the wind and let's try and capture that one now. Okay, so that's those captured. Now, I'm going to show you the difference between the focus area. So I'm bringing the exposure right down to f4 on the foreground, and we'll show the difference that the image blur will make. Right, okay, let's bring it down to that fern there. Perfect. And now let's focus it on the trees in the distance. So we've got the 3 layers, and you can see that we're getting a decent shutter speed with each of those. I have a different composition now. We've got the wall in the foreground, but we've got the textures in the rocks. You can see that I've set it to f4, focus on the rocks in the foreground on the wall, and capture that image. So let's focus on the fern. And we're at f4, remember. So this is a really narrow depth of field. Now what I'm going to do is show you an effect that I particularly like, where I don't want the foreground to be completely out of focus. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I've got it set to f11 because what I want to do is get the fern and the background in focus. I just want a very slight blur on the foreground rocks. Let's just capture that. As you can see, it's 1/8 of a second, so it's quite a long exposure. So let's just do a very quick comparison. This has been quite a quick walkthrough of the images and how to use the aperture and how to blur the foreground, the background, and the difference that the aperture makes. course, one of the options you do have is also to focus stack. I do have a video on focus stacking, so please feel free to check that out. I'll drop the link in the description below. This was a relatively simple scene, but what I really wanted to do was explain and show you the difference that Aperture makes. I hope that that has made sense for you. If it has, please remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Your support for the channel is so much appreciated by myself. I am really enjoying making these videos, and I hope that you too are getting something out of them. Feel free to comment below what you thought of this video and maybe some of the other channel videos as well. And until next time, I will see you soon.